Kia ora, everyone.
Mm.
Whoops. Kia ora, everyone. Welcome to today's Creative Communities Assessment Committee. I declare this meeting open. First off, are there any apologies? Nope. There you go. That was easy to confirm. Confirmation of the previous minutes. I'm assuming most, if not all, have gone through the previous minutes and had a look at them. Were there any changes or objections or anything that you want noted from that?
Nope.
Nope. That is another easy one ticked off the list. Any late items that we need to? Oh, sorry. Can I have a mover for the exception of the minutes from the last meeting? Kim? And seconded by
Yep, I'll second.
Karis. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Is carried. Notification of late items. Any late items to be considered for business today? Nope. That is another one. And declarations of interest. So this is a chance for you to declare any potential conflict of interest with any of the applications that have been put forward today. So yeah, if you could just raise any potential. Yeah, Karis.
I declared on our assessment form that I have a conflict of interest, as Janine mentioned, with the Fielding and District Art Society application.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Any
Yes, thank
question
you.
9. And any other conflicts of interest to declare? Nope. Okay. All good. All right. Well, now we're just waiting for our first presenter, which is Eris Newson from Fielding and District Art Society.
Yeah, now that we have the door locked.
Do I need to step out during that discussion, or do I just not vote? Okay. Oh, yeah. I'll turn my mic.
Just one thing, should I disclose that my wife's a member of the Fielding Art Society? No, no, she's not.
Okay.
It's not yet dawned. Just with respect. Oh, it's all right. It's $10. So okay, fine.
Morning. Hey, Kia ora. How are you?
Okay, well, I guess.
How you doing?
I'm really here to just speak to the application.
Oh, sweet. Straight into it.
Oh, well, I guess I should say I'm Eris Newson. I've been teaching the younger classes. So the application, of course, as you know, is for 4 art classes for at the Fielding Arts Centre for all ages. I've been teaching the younger classes, so I've got a little bit of more, I guess, insight or personal interest in getting this funding as well. So essentially, we're looking for 4 classes for, so that we can cover the ages, all ages that we would like to. Sorry, on the spot. Go for. Yeah, I really essentially need you to ask me questions and I will fill you in. So if you
I'm
can,
sure we can help with that.
yeah.
Have we got any questions for Eris and her application? Oh, I'll start then. This is a regular application that sort of comes to us, on an annual basis. How important is the funding for you? Like, would it be possible to do without the funding?
These classes won't run without funding. We won't be able to. And if it was partial funding, it would still, either we wouldn't run them or we would have to pick and choose which classes we run, which would be pretty rough. We would try, I guess, to get cover as many ages as possible. But we would have to turn people away if that were the case, and that would be pretty sad. So yeah, they wouldn't run. We don't have the funds for it.
Yep, absolutely. On that, so because it's been a regular application coming in, have you noticed in terms of the amount of children that are coming through, like has that been increasing, or has the cost of
Yes, yeah,
living
it
impacted
has,
it at
and
all?
we've got a bit of a waiting list.
Okay.
We increased the art classes last term to look at Karis. I'm trying not to look at you, to be honest. Otherwise, I might like fall back. We increased them last term because we had such a number of people waiting, and already we've got those classes. I mean, I haven't actually gone and said yes, yes, yes to people, but those classes are looking like they're full already. And I've even got people lining up for the adult class already, which is really, really cool. And that one hasn't been a continuous thing. It's kind of we had a trial run or a pilot run last year and this year. So it's just jumping in a bit cold for the adult one, but we've already got quite a few people that have said, yes, please, would really love to do that. And we actually already had people. The reason we've kind of put the application in is because we've had so many adults saying, what are we going to do? I can't afford to do an art class, but it would be really, really good to have that experience.
So the adult ones run concurrently with the junior ones or the kids ones?
Yeah, so the adult ones will be 6 weeks and the kids ones are 8 weeks. And the adult ones are run the same sort of style. They're a Thursday evening. At the moment, actually, one of the cool things about the adult ones is we've got a mother and 2, older teenage daughters that have booked in to do that. And so there's already like the opportunity for that connection, that kind of social interaction that's going to happen, where they kind of grow together, I guess, which is really nice.
That's awesome.
I'm excited about that, to be honest.
Very exciting. Any questions for Eris? Alison, have you got a question at all?
Hang on, I'll just put my sound back on. Does it cost them anything to participate, a small amount?
Yeah, we charge $48 per person for the whole term.
Yeah.
That's really just to cover materials and admin, really.
And do you feel that there are definitely participants in the course who finance would be a barrier to them participating if it wasn't as affordable?
Yeah, I'm actually quite impressed at the capture we've got. I think we don't seem to have people coming in that would be, in my opinion, able to afford, classes that would cost more. I think the people that we've got coming in genuinely are there because it's not as expensive and their kids have an interest. And it's not just kids that are interested in art. There's quite a few people that, that art is just their direction because they don't really do sports and they're not really, that sociable. There's a lot of social outcomes, I think, with the classes. So it's quite cool to see. And I know there's a lot of neurodivergent, or a few neurodivergent students in there as well. So that's quite nice to kind of capture and give them something that they can do as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harris. I think that's everything from us. We'll be in contact with you following the conclusion of the meeting once we've had our deliberations. So
Thank you.
I'm imagining that'll be within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, really appreciate you giving up your time to come and chat to us today.
Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Have a great day.
Paris, I have that code that you
Oh,
guys
yep.
seem to have.
Well, logged on out. Oh, we've got a change of presenter for application 10, the Square Edge one. Not sure. Is that noted on everybody's Steph?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, cool. No worries.
There's some additional ones.
There's additional ones joining Tracy Moa at Whahunui Community Committee.
Oh,
And
yep.
that's Richard Ransom and Phil Pyrie.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be 3 coming from them.
Okay, cool. And they're the last one, aren't they? Yeah, cool.
Perception for Jane.
Mm. Mm. Where is it? On the other phone. Not here yet. Okay.
Feels at reception all the time. Way it's been today, isn't it, Cole?
Accept me today and tomorrow. It's my error, I apologise. Well, Allison's fault, getting over.
Hmm. No sign? Hmm. Okay. Hmm. I suppose Sharon's not here, is she? The next one? I was just wondering if there's any others that are here that we could just bump forward. Oh, yeah, cool.
Mm.
Like to just take a seat at the top of the table. At the table. Not to you. Thank you.
Well, we can be if you want us to be. Kia ora, welcome.
Yeah, kia ora. I'm Jane Humphrey.
Yep.
I'm the business manager at Square Edge Arts, and this is
I'm Charlotte. I am
everything else.
everything else. Comms, marketing, etc.
You're speaking my language. I'm a communications professional myself, so yeah. Sorry, just can I get you to move that microphone in front of you and then Charlotte move? Yeah, that way we can just capture your voices properly. All good. So you're here today to present for Square Edge and
Yes.
the art trail. So off you go if you like.
Well, I'm not sure if you've all read the application. Ed Ana, our artistic director, who actually who actually put in the application, has just recently left the organisation. I've been there since 2020 and been involved with the art trail since then. So it's been operating for 12 years. It's an event that we try to get funded to actually be completely free to all. So free to all the artists and free to all the visitors as well. We've been slowly sort of growing further out from Palmerston North itself and just trying to grow out to further areas. So Manawatu District Council have always supported us the last 2 years, and it's just more a contribution as much as possible to go into the advertising and so forth for the artists. The feedback we get from the artists is sort of mainly marketing, which is always the hard thing because being not for profit, most of our marketing is through social media. So that's where we sort of put a lot of focus on. We've got a bus that comes across. I don't know if you've seen it the last 2 years. Back of the bus that comes across to Fielding, that's advertising for the art trail. This year we're changing it a little bit in the format that people have wanted more hands-on. So instead of just going to have a look at people's art, they actually want to have a go. So we're changing it in a format that we're sort of going to focus on sort of 3 groups, being families, people that fine arts and people that just want to get messy, get their hands in. So with our funding this year, we're wanting to help some of the artists. We'll run some workshops, either pre-art trail and after art trail, and actually during it as well. So you can turn up and actually take something away. I'm not an artist myself, but went to one, and that's what we had a go at an artist's desk, and he was showing us what to do. And it was actually quite exciting taking something away with us and going, I made that. And it's something that you take home and then are you inspired to do it yourself. It's also then a focus for the artists to be able to sort of interact with all their visitors. And from that, is that something then they feel confident enough to actually start running their own workshops. So that's another, income stream for them. So that's sort of all our focus is on the artists. I'm not sure if there's much more. So our art trail, there's always been a big focus on the art trail being the weekend of it, which is 13th,
12th and 13th.
the 13th. But we're going to try and focus it more being the whole month. So we have an exhibition that runs the whole month, and that's from all the artists in the art trail can then show pieces in the exhibition. But with that, then we want to run the workshops that are running through those months as well. So it just gives people a chance of introductory to art, or see how that goes. Any questions?
Questions? Yep, Colin.
Yeah, good morning. In terms of your collective spaces, I understand they've been very successful in the past. Do you have the same amount of collective space for the artists to exhibit this year?
So at this stage, we're only showing we've got a hub at Square Edge. And from there, that was our other feedback, was a lot of the smaller artists out in the studios felt that everyone just went to hub and left. So we're making Square Edge the main hub, and then we're going to try and help people to get into their own small hubs. Like Foxton, they go into a library, they get a group of people together, or Hamatangi, and Foxton do the same. So it's trying to encourage the out areas so that it actually becomes a trail rather than people coming to two hubs and going home. And so we're just sort of working with the artists in the outer parts to say, get a hall together or work it that way and see if we can.
So is there a hub planned for Fielding?
Fielding has quite a few. I'll pass this round and you can have a look. This is Fielding's part here. There's quite a few different artists in smaller hubs and also in the old one, Fielding and District Art Society. So you can have a look through that if you like. That round.
Thank you. Thanks.
But it's just trying to, but then you'll get people from further out, Halcombe and so forth. And I think that's where it becomes a bit of a struggle for people to go, I'm just going all the way out there for one artist. So we're trying to kind of get people grouped together and then come into the smaller areas so that they can more keep it a trail, but then actually get visitors through, especially the price of petrol now. So people are quite mindful where they're going and picking where they're going. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think a small contribution from the participants would be a barrier?
That then becomes really tricky because as soon as they start paying it, it changes how it is, like we organise it, we do all the marketing for it, but then it becomes as soon as $5 gets put in, you get a whole lot more of people wanting more things from us, and there's only so much, you can.
A contribution to their profile and the trail
but
guide.
it's also giving a lot of artists can't afford to actually pay to go to these. You've got Wanganui, I think it's about 250, so it does limit who goes in it. Whereas we want this for all. We want this for every artist that just want to participate. It can be a starting point for them to grow to have their own exhibition, but if they if it costs money, that's when it becomes restrictive of who can actually be part of it. And so far, we've been able to manage to do it. So if we can, that's our goal.
Thank you.
Jane, you were talking about the sort of participatory elements, which sounds like a really cool addition to the program. Is that something you're seeking funding for as part of the overall program? Or is the funding that you're seeking under Creative Communities more for those sort of marketing activities?
So under Creative Communities, it's kind of just across the board for what we're looking for. It's always mainly for advertising, but with our main funder, we're aiming at getting funding for about 12 artists to be able to get resources enough to actually run a wee workshop. I don't know if you know Gunhill.
Oh, yeah, Gunhood Litwin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she ran one last year, and so that sort of inspired us of how we could do it. So it was about, she used to have people that popped in and made a wee something, or they were there for 3 hours and they paid, I think it was about $10 to do the workshop. And she gave them a whole a layout of exactly what the materials they had and what they were making and how to make it. So we kind of wanted to go along those lines to try and just if we can help by paying, giving resources to those that are going to run the workshops, then yeah, that's sort of where we're going. So very much when we look at the funding that we apply for, it's we try to spread it across with, everything that we want to do. So, you don't always get the funding you want. So you just have to work it together to make sure you just get the best outcome from it. So, yeah.
Oh, thank
I
you.
hope that answers it in a roundabout way.
Well, kia ora, Jane. I wondered, in your application, you mentioned that you're yet to apply for funding through the Rangitike District Council and the PNCC. Have those applications been lodged yet? Or
So the one for PNCC is the major events, and it opens 1st of May.
yeah.
So we'll be applying through that. We have a really good relationship with them. So and so we'll put through the application. We know in June where that's at. We haven't heard back yet from Rangitike. Horowhenua we replied as well.
Oh, cool.
Because it's all the outer. We weren't successful there this time round. Which was quite disappointing considering it's to support their artists, but they said they had got a really huge amount of applications and they were focusing on their area. So yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. I just have a question in terms of the art that's made available to participate in it. Can you give us indication as to what art forms are included in the arts trail?
Most of it is actually there is photography, art. There is quite a range. There's weaving. I can pass this around. You can have a bit of a browse through. There's no limit to what they can. Any artist can. So it can be sculptures. We've had sculptures, weaving, glass. Of course, just the pottery. Looking through now. And quilting, anything that is actually weaving. They have actually last year were actually weaving when you went in to see them, which was quite interesting to watch too. So there's no sort of limit. Art's art in whichever format.
And in terms of the artists that are participating in it, like how successful are they in terms of generating income from it?
Well, I think I've got this here. So I'll pass this around. You can have a look at this. We got we did a survey at the end, and then from that we've had a report done, and so it's just showing. Sorry, there's lots of figures and everything in here. I can pass this around. You can have a look. You know where it is? Thanks.
Usually. Oh, there we go. That one.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's got here a spend chart from our report, and the money spent was 50% of purchasing was on art, 47% was on food and drink in the area, 12% was on retail shopping in the area, and 1.4 on accommodation. So that's just, that will be within the areas of where the art trail goes. We're also looking at, so this year is the hands-on, and our focus is to, because our application through major events is for 3 years, and we want to aim for sort of evening events maybe next year. We just don't want to do it all at once because it's just too much. So we're sort of then looking at accommodation and so forth in the area, and looking at what other events are on to bring people in, and look at, other organisations. What have you got going on? Let's advertise it all together in our guidebooks and get them out there earlier so people can make a plan to come and stay overnight as well. So
awesome. Thank you. I think that's everything from us. We'll be deliberating today and we'll have a decision hopefully within the next couple of weeks
Lovely.
and can let you know then. But yeah, best of luck.
Would you like that and the guide to have a look through it all?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll leave them both there. And you can have a look through that.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, Beck, B-E-C-K.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want that now or? Right.
Thank you. Okay.
Generally, if you have it about a hand width away. That's what I've been told in the industry.
Distract.
Given pounds towards cutbacks, we important to see if they provide the funding this year.
Mm.
Didn't think there's a project.
It comes from central government and then,
Comes from central.
yeah, the councils just administer the fund.
So how much is that?
Kia ora.
Hello.
Kia ora, how are you? Good. Morning, Sharon, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see you
having
again.
me. Yeah.
Awesome. So you're here to do your presentation for the Manawatu tattoo. Cool. Fire away.
Awesome. So as you know, another comprehensive application. These all the questions I hope are answered in there. We're doing this down at Manfield. You can see the budget's not small. It's very exciting though. New Zealand Army Band, I've been talking with them this week and they're very excited about coming in. There's a 4-day turnaround for them coming back from Singapore to doing our event. So they're really excited. So we're organising all that for them now. I don't know what to say. That's any different. That's in here.
Would you prefer us to ask questions?
Well, that would be really helpful.
Yep, that's fine.
Tell you something that you don't already know.
No, that's all good. Would anyone like to start? Alison on Zoom?
Hi Sharon, I'm on Zoom. Got the loop.
Oh, yeah, that's going around.
Now I've been to a number of your fine events in the past, and I know what a huge show you put on. In your application, you made a bit of a reference to it being a fundraising event, almost as if it was the primary purpose, but I don't think fundraising is the primary purpose, is it? Really, if you make a little bit of money, you make a donation somewhere. Really, it's about putting on a fabulous tattoo that'll make people come from far and wide, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more of a community event where we showcase local talent and we involve community groups in the organising and the running. And we do give donations to community groups. We've got 2 performances. We do a Saturday night, that's a 7 p.m. show. We use that as a dress rehearsal and we get in contact with community groups that want to raise some money. So for every seat that we sell on the Saturday night, $15 of that goes back to the community group that they belong to or that they want to donate that money to. So that's a fundraiser for community groups and it's a dress rehearsal for us and it puts people in seats for us as our dress rehearsal. We know what it's like. We know community groups struggle for money and fundraising, and this is just a way of giving back to those groups who support us to do what we do.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions?
I think that covered my question. That was my question too. So
Oh.
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
No. Oh, wow. There we go. Another comprehensive application.
Thank you very much. I can tell you now, well, we had Stan Walker coming last week, but he got called to America to do a tour.
Oh, no.
That on him. Otherwise, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. So, you know, there's nothing stopping us finding somebody else of that caliber that we can slot in and do a bit of PR around.
You should have shoulder tapped 660 when they were here on Saturday.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I did think about that. But something like that would attract, and the idea for bringing him in was attracting a younger demographic and exposing them to the art.
Yeah. I suppose
Not possible, and it still may happen.
I suppose on that, like, not just a younger demographic, but also like, that would bring in quite a lot of Māori people as well because of his mana in that community as well. Is it like, what sort of cultural elements are part of the tattoo? Because sorry, I've not been to one. I'm terrible. I know. My wife will kill me.
We use the Māori culture a lot through children.
Yep.
This time we've got Hatapora coming.
Oh, cool.
And they're just going to be beautiful. What we're going to do is bring the pipes through them so that we're mixing the two cultures. And we've got a wee plan of how we're going to make that look and sound. So we're going to mix the cultures through the dance and the music and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the waiata and the pipes coming through, it's quite, you'll get goosebumps. Yeah.
I look forward to
We
it.
try a whole lot of different things that have never been done before. So yeah, you'll be in for a treat.
Awesome. No, I look forward to it. Thank you very much. We'll have our deliberations after everyone's presented, and we'll have a decision within the next couple of weeks for you. But yeah, best of luck. I know that it's a fantastic event. My wife raves highly of it. So yeah, I look forward to it happening.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your support.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Karen.
Morning.
Hello.
Sorry. How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Thought I'd better turn my phone off before I came in.
It's been a big weekend for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
massive weekend.
Massive.
How
Still
many-
cleaning.
Still cleaning.
Nearly
those-
finished.
Those 660 fans. Oh.
It's fantastic all the same. It was amazing.
How many people in the end?
So we did 600.
Nice.
We actually should have done 660. We thought about that after the fact.
That's all right. Next time.
Yeah, next time. Yeah, hopefully next time. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming along. I'll leave it to you to
Okay.
present.
I think mainly we would like to come and just expand what we've done on our application form, in as much as telling you roughly how we run the project and the amount of people that we bring in to help, all on a volunteer basis. So we have our entry forms go out to the wider Manawatu area to cover all schools, music teachers, dance schools, those sort of things. We hit as wide as we can get. And from then on, the entry forms come in, and then we have auditions mid-June, which is a Friday evening, late afternoon Friday evening, and then all day Saturday. So that encompasses our stage manager and some volunteers helping on stage. We have our sound engineers who we actually pay, but they're one of the few people we pay for their expertise. We have a panel of 4 judges who encompass dance and music on a volunteer basis. They're all involved in the area, so they have experienced in those genres. So they kindly volunteer, and it's a big undertaking to volunteer. So they're using up a fair bit of their time because they're all busy people as it is. And besides that, we have callers and people getting the kids organised, waiting, going on, taking onto the stage, those sort of things. Our stage manager that we use has done it for us maybe the last 3 or 4 times we've done this. Very experienced, great with kids, and that's the huge thing. Of course, we are dealing with 8 to 18-year-olds, so you need people who have that empathy with and know how to handle kids that are nervous. We've had them walk on stage and start crying, all those sort of things. So we've got the right people to just calm them down and say, look, you'll be fine, just get out and do it. And once they start, they're fine. So that's the auditions, and that's quite obviously very busy. And then from there, those 4 judges select what finalists in all the genres and the age groups, which is an extremely difficult job, as you can imagine, because you know, how can you compare a singer with a dancer? You can't really, be quite honest. So we just tell the kids, look, if you make the finals, you're all winners, basically, because it's impossible to say that that dance was better than you singing. It's impossible. So, but they all they end up knowing that thing. So then for the finals, we have another 4 different judges again. So fortunately, over the years, we've built up a bit of I've been involved in the theatre side of the business for a long time, so I know a lot of people in the right places, which is quite lucky. So I just call on the expertise, and so they don't get paid either. They do it on a voluntary basis, so they come and do the finals. And the finals is very busy because we've got all these kids at once. So we put them into the stadium as a holding pen, you might say, and we have runners and people look after them. We have what's happening on stage live screened into the stadium, so they can also then watch what's happening on stage as well if they like to follow it, or if they've already been on stage, they can come back and watch the rest of it. So we have minders in there looking after these kids, and when I say kids, teenagers, little ones, and up to 18 years of age. So finals is really busy as well. So we have people looking after the judges. We have on the finals day, it's on the night, we have a rehearsal during the day. And that involves, again, quite busy. So you get these kids coming in and out. And so we feed them all. So all, again, on a voluntary basis. So we give the judges lunches and coffees, keep them going for the day. Thanks very much. But that's their payment.
Yeah.
So the only other people we actually pay is our MC, who is an MC entertainer slash. So he does, and we've used him for the last 2 years, 3 times we've done it. Very experienced. And he's great. We do pay him because it's a lot of work, because he also entertains and does the emceeing, which is a big job. So we pay him. Other than that, it's all run on a voluntary basis. So I think in total we probably have something like close to 30 or 40 volunteers running it for us, helping run it for us, and all experienced in all phases of entertainment, I suppose you might say, but all of them have the expertise in working with children, right? So our MC is actually assistant principal at one of the schools in Palmerston North. So like he works with children, right? So he's perfect for us. And every time we ask him, he said, just pencil me in. He said, I'll do it. So we don't have any worries there. So that's pretty much in a nutshell, I think. Carla, unless you've got anything you've missed out.
No, I think you've covered it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Questions from anybody? Alison?
Hi, Alison and Carla. I'm on Zoom. I've got COVID, so I can't be in the room.
You.
Poor you.
All the joys. I've been to one or two of the star searches in the past, and they have been fabulous. And the other thing that I really think it is important to comment on is how it showcases the venue, how the Civic Centre can put on a show like that. Mind you, I suppose you've just done that with 660. You know, you've invested a lot of money in lighting and sound equipment, etc. And I think it really showcases to our community what sort of events can be put on there, as well as showcasing the young people. So it's a comment more than a question.
Thank you.
It's a good comment, actually. And just recently, we've actually upgraded all our sound equipment and lighting. It's a really high standard. We have had professional 660 guys for a start. We're just amazed how at our, our facility, how great it was, the facilities there. So these are guys who, obviously professional musos, have travelled the country and overseas, and all commented, the tech guys that travel with them as well said what a fantastic facility it was. And so for a star search thing, we've got upgraded lighting, which we can do all sorts of magical things with it now. And the sound is great. We had, just recently, we named the foyer, the Pats Knoxville foyer. So we had an afternoon there. We had entertainment for that. So the entertainers we had, we've thrown them in or two, but all sorts of genres, they're all singers. And some of them had semi-professional. They all commented what a fantastic sound system it was we have now. I mean, these guys are walking around the stage still singing, so that they know what they're listening for more than I would know. But, you know, they said, well, this is amazing. So that in itself, so it's a good comment about the facility, yeah. So it makes their job a little bit easier. And we can put on a more polished production as well. It's, you know, all those things matter with sound and lighting. Just we create that whole atmosphere for the dancers, the singers, all those things. Yeah. So thanks, Alison. Yeah, it's a good point.
Cool. Karis?
Hi, thank you for such a wonderful application. It was really nice to sort of have a clear path of how you're going to do Star Search. So thank you for that. One thing I came away from reading your application was sort of wondering what the rationale for your entry fees is, and sort of how did you come to those figures, and what does that support? Could you do without it?
We charge an entry fee which we think is affordable for all families, because I mean obviously a lot of these kids don't come from affluent backgrounds either, so it gives it anyone that wants to do something, gives them a chance. But the reason we did charge a fee is that we have in the past, if we sold just send it in at some stage, sometimes they will say, oh, we'll enter, and then change their mind and just don't turn up. Right. So it just gives a little bit of a commitment that mum or dad has paid the $10. It's usually the solo ones, isn't it? More the dance groups are different, because I think the dance people are a bit more highly organised, because they go to competitions and things as well outside area. So that is the reason. But we think the entrance fees are very reasonable, to be quite honest. But that is the reason we do it. It does help us with a bit of administration early on in the piece as well, to be quite honest. But yeah, we don't make a lot of money from it too. It's not our main. We don't do it to make the money, put it that way. We do it mainly to keep everyone honest.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I've just got a comment.
Oh, yep.
I enjoyed your application, and it just goes to show that the voluntary support that you're getting is really effective when you look at your budget. I mean, a 3-day event for $10,000 is amazing. Yeah, I just find this, the budget really, really good, and noted Karis's comments in terms of, you know, what you could let go of to perhaps apply for more funding. I don't know. But looking forward to this.
Yes, yeah. As I say, we are really lucky with our volunteers, and experienced volunteers, what I'm saying, some genres which we need. Just give their time. It's all about the kids, really, and that's our big thing, yeah.
Sorry,
Awesome.
one more question. I just forgot to ask, what are the prizes?
Oh, I haven't got them in front, I have got somewhere, but you probably remember.
So they get prize money
Mhm.
for their sections and their age groups, so which they can then put towards their, whatever they want. Like the groups
Mhm.
normally put their money towards the fund to go off to the other competitions and bits and pieces, or put it towards future development and stuff. So I think it's individuals is about $150. The duos, trios are like 200 and the groups are 400 in their category. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
I think most of them you'll find they'll put that money towards dance shoes,
Mm.
another guitar. You know what I mean? It just puts carry on their performance. They're obviously up on the stage they've learned to do something to showcase it. And so there's always a cost at that. If they're learning to play something, it's a cost and all those things. So that money they earn, that's up to the parents' discretion, I suppose.
Yeah.
They go buy chocolates if they like, but I'm sure the parents will say, well, that you could buy some new shoes with that, your new dance shoes or something, yeah. But it's up to them. But so I don't think they're really going it for the money. It's not. I don't think it's about the money. It's about getting up on the stage and doing their thing in front of an audience. Yeah.
It's not going to be life-changing money, is it?
No, it's not. No.
Yeah.
And we've never been criticised. No one's ever criticised how much they win. It's not about that, to be quite honest. No.
I think it's providing them a safe environment to experience being on stage in a theatre, singing, dancing in front of lights and cameras and, in a safe, small, area. So, yeah, and it's really good.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We are going to be deliberating after all the presentations are done, and we should have an answer for you in a couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you so much for coming along, and good luck with Star Search. It looks
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, pass us a minute, please. Thank you. Oh, sorry. No, I'm still using. What? Oh, it's like a half one as well. Yeah, 1.5. Hello.
Hola.
How are you?
Fabulous. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you.
Good. And you're here to do 2 presentations today.
Put pressure on me or anything.
No, just doubling up the work. All good. So your first application is for North Street School.
Yep.
And the mentorship program. So if you'd like to start with that.
So we've been working through the Field in Kapuiako for the last couple of years and supporting our local schools to get funding for mentors to connect with students that are really artistically talented, but due to social and economical reasons, they just cannot access those types of resources and mentors. So because some of the funding hasn't been available, we have been advised to seek support from council and others for individual schools. So we would really love to hire 2 mentors to work with 4 students at North Street School through term 3 and form to develop their own projects. So they would be matched up based on their interests and talents, create a goal and a plan together, come to North Street School. We will provide the space and really just let a really great opportunity develop for current, young, and future artists in our community.
Awesome. Any questions? Karis?
I wondered, Kasia, if you could speak to the impact that those mentors have on an individual level, because I think with creative communities, the priority is often given to those projects that benefit a big range of people. But maybe you could talk to how mentoring has a different type of benefit than just say.
It has a massive impact on our students. Not only on developing their skills, but developing themselves as artists and people. These are kids that have never had an opportunity to sit with someone who takes their interests seriously and really supports them. The feedback that we have gotten from kids over the last couple of years, it's like Christmas, because they get to have someone who's interested not only in art and in the same things that they are, but they are already established in our community. So they can see a natural link to future careers and future opportunities in our community. And it really builds a community of mentors and artists throughout our schools, which is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Or comments? We've had quite a number of applications, as I'm sure, as you can imagine. If we weren't able to supply the full amount of funding, would an amount still be appreciated for, and would it still enable you to do what you need to do, even if it's a case of not being able to provide 2 mentors, but 1 mentor?
We would be generously so grateful for anything. Any kids we can help that are passionate and want to grow, I would love to be able to offer that to our kids. So regardless if it's 1 or 2, I think just being considered is really something that we appreciate.
Awesome. No other questions?
Kasia,
Sorry.
the mentors, are they members of the Fielding District Art Society? Through that,
They
like-
have been in the past. We have worked with Karis for the
Yeah.
last couple of years to make sure that they are local.
Okay.
I think that's such a great benefit, because then you're actually growing in that community from a young age. And yeah, I think it's very important to keep it local.
And the age of the children, you talk about at North Street, are the intermediate school, is it?
North
Primary.
Street's from 0 to year 8.
Yeah.
In the past, some of the recipients at North Street have been as young as year 4. But there's definitely some amazing kids, especially in our bilingual unit that I've had the pleasure to work with for the first time, that would really benefit from something like this.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. I think, have you got a question? No, that's okay. All right. So we'll park that one there for now. And if we move on to your application for Te Kahui Kawakawa.
Yep. So just to refresh your memory, if you're not familiar with Te Kahuiako Kawakawa, we are a group of 16 local schools that have been working together for the last 5 years to create initiatives that really benefit our community of learners as a whole. We have very clear achievement objectives that we work towards, and one of them is trying to benefit our students in any way that we can. What we have done in the past with Karis and our little community is put on art galas. Some of the feedback that we have gotten, excuse me, from running them for the last 2 years is it would be wonderful to see other aspects of art. There's so many people in our community that talk about the amazing wearable arts that was Fielding for so many years. And by no means am I trying to compete or reach that level, because I will not sleep if that kind of pressure is put on us. But there's so many people that in our community, in our schools, that see it as such a great benefit, and it will be lovely if we could just trickle it in and start connecting even the wonderful people that you met with just before us to build those connections and provide opportunities for our kids to develop wearable arts and develop their skills. So this project is more about giving opportunities to schools to have about 10 to 15 students that are really interested in wearable arts, but would not necessarily have an opportunity, or perhaps because art at schools is cyclical. So for example, 1 year we'll do a full year of productions. So the whole school will get, like, each classroom will get $100 for productions. Wearable arts is an entire separate year and you get $100. There's kids in our community that are amazing at wearable arts. We've seen it. I mean, we've seen it over the years. So we really want to bring that back and offer to the kids that don't want to wait 2 or 3 years before the cycle comes again. They want to do it now. And I think we should be able to provide that for them.
Awesome. Questions? Comments?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely, Karen.
Are you able to provide a little bit of detail about the budget? Where does that money go? Where have those figures come from?
Good question. Some of the art supplies that we have looked at, we've looked at our past budgets for other across school Kahuiako art funding that we have used to provide. So because it's a bit of a different project, we're looking more at providing like a lump sum for each school so the students can work with the teachers to actually get the resources they need. So that's how we came up with that. Obviously, we wanted to have a really special place to host it for the entire community come out to see. Instead of just being it at a school, we wanted to have it at the Civic Center or another community. So that's another aspect of it. And we're still looking at catering and other small costs that are involved in it. As our group meets and continues to discuss, I think that plan will evolve. Our funding budget will get beefed out a bit more, but that's where we're currently sitting.
And at this stage, that number is comparable to what you've done. You're not boosting it or making any significant cuts.
We have used our past applications and past funding that we have used for these types of programs to make sure that we're not going crazy, but we're also trying to meet the needs of our community.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No, I think that's it. You thoroughly. Thank you very much, Cassia, for presenting to us today. 2 very good applications. We'll be deliberating after all the presentations are done, and we should have a decision within the next couple of weeks. So
Fantastic.
thank you so much.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity. Really, really appreciate it. I know you've got a tough gig.
Yeah,
Amazing.
we do.
candidate. So good luck and yeah, have a wonderful day. Thanks
Awesome.
again.
Thank you. Almost back on time. Do you know him, do you? Or
So I guess that's, to gauge when there's not a lot of information. Once people understand it's
yeah. I'm really gutted that community music Aotearoa aren't here. Would have loved to have heard that. I really like that idea. Hello.
Morning.
So we've got Tracy and sorry,
Phil Quarry.
Phil. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
All right, and so you're here to present for the Huanui Community Committee for the type of history murals, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Fire away when you're ready.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you everyone for your time. I'm Tracy Mowat. I'm the Secretary of the Hiwanui Community Committee. And this is Phil Pyrie, who's a member. General Dodds body does everything for our community committee. And I know you've all read the submission, so I won't be going over that in detail today. But what I wanted to do was give you some background and set the scene a bit as to why our Hiwanui War Memorial is so important to our community. So first of all, the War Memorial is both a memorial to those who died in World War I and World War II, but also and a roll of honour for all that served as well. It started off initially as for World War I, and then when World War II occurred, names were further added on to that. As you can see on the slide there, the current location of Hiwanui, and are you all familiar with Hiwanui and where we sit in the world? Great. So Hiwanui School is really the hub of our community. It's the only public access place, and the War Memorial is currently situated in Hiwanui School. It used to be on the main entrance to Hiwanui School, but now the entranceway is boarded off by fencing to keep our children safe. So we're in the process of moving it. So it's currently in that blue circle spot that you can see behind the trees that are no longer there. And we're planning on moving it forward so that people can access it from Watershed Road into that area that the yellow circle is. We're going to put fencing around behind it so that people can park up, come off the roadside. They don't need to enter the school and go round behind the pool, and that they can easily see the War Memorial, which is what it used to be when it was first put in place. It's just that things change in 100 years, as I'm sure you can all appreciate. So we're in the process of moving that now. Next slide, please. And what we think it will look like there in the top left-hand corner is an artist's impression of how the War Memorial will look, looking at it from Watershed Road, near the intersection of Reed Line East. Down the bottom right-hand corner, that's how it currently looks on Anzac Day this year. As you can see, it's in a garden bed. So we don't think it's the ideal location. We think it needs more mana to reflect its importance. So why history boards? I mean, that's the history of our War Memorial, but our application is for history boards to reflect and to link in with the War Memorial. So Hiwanui made a significant contribution to World War I and II. Across both wars, we had 47 servicemen who were deployed. And as you can see up there, that the stats are up there. Sadly, 11 were killed, and a large number wounded, and some returned home as well. There's still connections to the community. When you look at some of the names on the War Memorial, you can link it with people who still live within the area. And there's a range of historical information held in a wide range of areas, but it's not visible to people passing by or viewing the War Memorial. So our intent is to create history boards similar to these shown up the top. That's just some examples of what's around the Manawatu, with Hiwanui School support both in the research of the history boards and also with the design process with the quote that we've got with Freedom Print. That includes students going in and being interactive and going through that process as well. And the outcome is to show our history and make it more prominent for people, and also to remember our servicemen. We're also going to look into an online link so that we can keep on investigating and providing more information if people want to look into things more. This also aligns to one of our objectives in our Hiwanui Community Committee. It's B6, which is identify safe locations along walking paths for viewing landscapes and consider seating and history boards. We think this is a great place to start because Hiwanui School is the hub of our community. We do have walkways that bomb burst out, and we're looking to extend those. And there are other locations and other historical things that we want to reflect, but this is the priority for us. And just one sort of anecdote the other day, I was walking along the pathways and I bumped into a guy by the name of Schwartz, and his relative was in World War I. His name was A. Guru Schwartz, which is a German name, and he's since adopted the name Schwartz. And he was just driving from Northland to Wellington on for a conference for his work. And he was just milling around the school and he wanted to go in, but he didn't know if he was allowed because, you know, schools are quite locked up these days. And so I just stopped and talked to him and I said, yeah, of course you can. And I showed him around and he was really appreciative, but it kind of highlighted that it's not in the right place. And it also highlighted to me that if we had history boards and we had a whole war memorial with its history next to it, it would far better reflect the importance and provide more details as well about servicemen who served and the history of the area and how the war memorial was built. And there's a whole lot of story about that as well. So that's really the guts of it. Phil, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, well, I've been in the community for close on 30 years now. When the memorial was put there in 1919 at the entrance of the school, and it's always been there, but with the schools developed really only over the last 5 years, it's become no longer the entrance, and in fact, it's now fenced off. Unfortunately, due to a ground problem we had discovered 2 weeks ago, we couldn't lift it into its new position in time for Anzac Day. So you can see the damage that's been done on the side there because we're investigating whether the bottom plinth was actually fixed to the memorial or not. We discovered that it was. It's about 7 tonnes, but the ground is so soaked there, we've got to put in a whole lot more drainage to try and get it out. I was up at Wairau we drove up there on Anzac Day afternoon and camped overnight, and I went to the reference section, the Kippenberger Memorial Reference Library. I've got a whole lot of information and links for the soldiers, and what we intend to do is on the notice boards is have a picture of everyone who was served, whether they killed or returned, with some very scant details of, say, their name, rank, serial number, unit they served in, date enlisted, date returned or date killed, but with a QR code. And in the QR code, which the school kids are going to sort out, they are going to have access to the original war files and a whole lot of other details, including maps where that particular soldier came from. I've already organised a full dedication ceremony because in 1919 it was dedicated as a full military honours, and the Army has already agreed to do that for next Anzac Day. And we hope to get a lot of the public there, so we'll have it all finished off with nice seating, these display boards, and on the Friday, because Anzac Day is on the last Friday of the term, this is term 2 at the moment, the kids will do a Anzac Day service on the last Friday of term 1, which they've done there. You can see the setup with the crosses. That's all the kids' work. And generally, with a bit of prompting from the staff, they organise it all themselves. I don't know, what is it? I can't remember, Form 1 or 2. I don't know what the new year system is.
7 and 8.
7 and 8, yeah. So it'll be good to have these notice boards up. That's the primary function, well, the primary application is these notice boards. With part of the walkways, we intend to have notice boards similar to you see up at up towards the rear. I can't think of the name of the little outfit up there, the old village that never actually developed. But we're going to have one right up at the top of Colleton Road and Watershed Road intersection, where you get a fantastic view of Ruapehu, and sometimes you can even see Egmont on a really good day. And our walkways running between Watershed Road and Grove Road, 3 kilometres. We're going to have a notice boards at the entrance to that walkway, as well as at Stony Creek, because that's a historical element. And notice boards also down at the end of the walkways where we're planning to go in the short term, where we've got our Huanui welcome signs. So what we're seeking for is help with the funding, to try and get it up there. And our walkways will run eventually from Bunnythorpe to Ashurst, and will become part of the Te Aroha, is it Te Aroha Trail as an alternative to that, then I'm very passionate with it and want to see it moved. And so we're in the process now of doing it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Questions or comments? Oh, go Paris first and then Alison.
Sorry, Alison. Thank you for your application and for explaining the background to it. Are you able to sort of flesh out a little bit more what because you've applied under young people, and I suppose I'd like to understand more how they will be participating in the project from an arts perspective.
Yeah, so on our Hibanui Community Committee, the Hibanui School Principal, Erin Wheeler, is part of that. So we've talked about it with her. And our target date is Anzac Day 2025, as Phil's mentioned. So term 3 and term 4 of this year is when it's going to be a project at Hibanui School. With the older kids, probably the year 7 and 8 students, but they're going to do a research project of the names of the people involved, the history of the War Memorial, and they're going to accumulate a lot of information along with teacher guidance and steering them along the way, and come up with what they think should be on the history boards and how to reflect the servicemen that served in World War I and II. Once we've got a decent amount of information for the history boards, and they've also looked into the online QR code type options and what other websites they can link into. So there's that digital aspect as well. Freedom Print is the quote that we've provided, and there's the opportunity for the students in a small group to engage with Freedom Print and to work through that design process of how history boards are designed and how things are presented. So there's that aspect as well. So they've got the history aspect and they've got the producing something aspect. And then I dare say when we actually stick them in the ground, they'll be there digging the holes as well. Yeah, so we want to involve them as much as we possibly can. We want it to be student-led so that there's that link and that ownership as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alison?
Hiya, I'm on Zoom, guys. Sorry, I've got babies and germs. I'm familiar with Hawanui School, and I know it's great. The whole district has grown a lot since that memorial must have been put in, and so I certainly understand how it sort of got a bit lost. Actually, when I saw the photo of it, it reminded me very much of the Halcombe cenotaph as well. I don't know whether you've ever seen that. It would be a really good time to look at it this week before they take all the Anzac Day stuff down, and you can see what they've done with theirs. The history boards, you're talking about Freedom Print. The one that you had on display there, the Ruahine Dress Circle one, I'm sure was in collaboration with CEDA, with Janet Reynolds from who does the destination management at CEDA. I don't know whether you've had a conversation with her at all. I really do like the idea of putting the QR codes on it, because it actually means you don't need to put up as many boards. So there's less chance of wear and tear and vandalism and all that sort of thing. And I just think it's also a wonderful research project for the children, and that's what helps keeps the memories alive of what happened in World War I and World War II.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't had a conversation with CEDA. The two images that I found were really searching online for history boards as an example, so I could kind of let you guys know the kind of end state that we wanted to be at. So no, I haven't engaged with CEDA, but there is a bit of flexibility in terms of what we end up with depending on the amount of information that we want to show versus the amount we want to hide behind QR codes for further information, but they're all great points, and we'll try and get out to Halcombe to have a look-see as well. Thanks.
We've what I discovered on Friday, and I never even knew about it, never even thought it. There is a guy in New Zealand who's now produced 4 volumes, and he has got this campaign to have a photograph of every service personnel that has served in every war that New Zealand's been involved in. So it's a huge resource that we've tried to contact all the relatives of those that are on the memorial, and we've had quite a bit of success already, but we can obtain every photo from every service person, which will be displayed on there. And that's the best way to link a name with the actual person. Otherwise, the names become a little bit meaningless. But as like Tracy said, there's about 4 families still in the district that have a direct connection with those names on the memorial.
Any other questions or comments? Yep, Colin?
Yeah, I think you went to the Army Museum or Wairua. It's fantastic, isn't it? They've got pay books, they've got all the information. You know, you can definitely build a history of every one of those serving people.
Yeah, well, the online, it's all the records from World War One. World War Two is a little bit more difficult because they're not online yet, and there's issues of protocol with the families because there are still about, I think, 100 veterans alive from World War Two. Only 2 months ago, my uncle died, and he'd been in casino. But the links that we have with the QR code will have details, not only the records, but actually the actual war record will have a scanned image of that so people can look at.
Awesome. I think that's all our questions and comments. Yep. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in and giving up your time. We are going to go for deliberations very shortly after a quick morning tea, and we should have a decision for you within the next couple of weeks. So thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Okay. Would anybody like to move that the meeting be adjourned for morning tea? Can I get somebody to move that? Alison on Zoom. And seconded by Colin. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. All right. Let's have a morning tea. So, that's everybody back in now. Cool. So that is everyone back in. We will reconvene the meeting. Is it recording? Oh, it is. Cool. Fantastic. All right. So. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Sorry. I was like, what am I to do now?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Just following the scoring and assessments of the applications against the requirements and eligibility of creative communities, the order of priority, we start with application number 10, which is Square Edge Community Arts.
Cool. All right. So comments on this application and what we'd like to provide in terms of funding. Open it to the floor. Any comments?
Huge participation in this.
Yep.
I just think it's worthy of fully funding. I really do.
Awesome. So Sue's for fully funding. Anybody else in agreement with Sue?
I had initially suggested funding them slightly below, but that was really just based on a percentage proportion of what I'd scored them. I would be happy to fully fund them this round, but I do think it's worth mentioning something I noticed they spoke a lot about the participatory aspects of the trail in their presentation, and that wasn't really something that was reflected in the application itself. And I feel like it would have been really great had they emphasised that, and it would have been nice to have that survey data rather than handed around to us supporting their application when it was submitted, because I think Arts Trail does get a really good participation, but it would be good to understand the nuances of that.
Yeah.
I know over the last few years they've expanded really widely, and some of the engagement at different locations has varied from sort of the more urban hubs versus the more sort of outlying regions, and it would have been good, I think, to understand that when considering Manawatu's investment in the initiative.
Yep. Any other comments? Alison?
Thank you. I was surprised that they didn't really talk so much about the people that would come and view the art, because on the times that I have done the art trail, and I've only done parts of it where I've chosen particular artists I want to go and see rather than make a whole weekend of it, as some people do. But it actually also promotes the Manawatu region, and I've definitely in the past heard people talking that clearly had come for out of town from this, so it sort of has a regional tourism aspect too, and they didn't sort of really feature that at all.
I agree.
Colin?
Yeah, I have a little experience in this, not because I'm a beneficiary, because my wife has done it 2 years in a row. She found the first year she was, come to your house, and the attendance was around Manawatu. People just weren't prepared to drive that distance. But the hubs worked really well once you got into a hub. And I noticed that Casey Birch was a big area for them, and this year they're not even going there. So I have some concerns that they're not providing enough hub environment. And I would also question what happens if they don't get sufficient funding to run it. Right? Does it mean then that we don't grant this, or is this a grant, we give it there, and I have that question for it.
Yeah. Tim, any comments? I'm similar thinking to yourself, Karis, and also like the point that you just raised in terms of the hubs as well. I'm supportive of the project. I just don't know if I would fully support it in terms of what they've asked for, but I've given it very slightly less than what they've actually asked for. But from the people that I know who do the arts trail, they are very complimentary of it. I haven't done it personally myself, so I haven't got any experience. I've only got that secondhand experience. But all right, so I think we're sort of roughly in agreement that we will provide something. It's just the amount. So I'll put it out on the table. That the Creative Communities Assessment Committee grants $5,794 inclusive of GST to application 10. Is it 10? 10. Square Edge Community Arts for the Manawatu Arts Trail. I get a mover and a potential seconder.
Can I just double check? Shouldn't that be a GST exclusive amount?
Sorry, GST exclusive. So,
Oh,
Alison, you'll move?
I'm happy to move, and I'll just add the comment that I did put it a little less, but if it is collectively overall the highest score, I feel we're almost obliged to fully fund it.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So we've got a mover and Alison. Can I get a seconder?
Second that.
Oh, Colin had your hand up. Fight over it. We'll go Sue, second that. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion is carried.
Right, our next priority number 2 is the Celtic Spirit.
Celtic Spirit. Okay. So this is a slightly trickier one. I'll open it up to discussion from people. Alison?
Sorry, I was trying to let someone else go first. I think Sharon really undersells herself, and she's always like that. She's a volunteer machine. I mean, that's $100,000 concert that she puts on and takes nothing from it for herself. She absolutely, and it's got to do with, she's made such fantastic connections over the years. Suzanne Prentice, I think, has been coming to that event ever since it started, and has actually said to Sharon, we should be taking this touring around New Zealand and Australia. It's such a good event. I was just, I asked the question that I did about the fundraising, because I know that fundraising is not the main point of it. And I just felt in the application it featured higher than, it should have been a very secondary. And by the way, we hope to give some money to some organisations, rather than saying it was for fundraising.
Agreed.
Yep. Concur with that. Any other comments?
Yeah, through you, the chair. Was this application declined the last time we met? I'm pretty sure
Yeah, through
it
you.
was.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. What was declined was the way that they had put an application in for an asset, which was going to be a painting of their curtain that opens up their show.
Okay.
And it was because of how they had put it through in their application, because assets aren't part of Creative Communities eligibility, but they put in another submission which took it away from it being an asset rather than a piece of art, and that got through.
Cool. Thank you.
Paris?
I would, based on the presentation given by Sharon, I would like to revise my advised amount to 4,250 and recommend that sort of we consider maybe higher than any of us had initially considered in our scoring, based on the fact that, yeah, as Alison pointed out, she was very passionate. It was emphasised that the fundraising was not just for Celtic Spirit either. It was going to go back into other groups in the community, so it may well have flow-on effects beyond just their organisation as well.
Yep. Awesome. Any comments over on this side? No? Okay. I'm happy to put that as the motion. Can you just read out the amount again, sorry, that you suggested?
I suggest $4,250 be funded out of the requested 5,000.
Okay.
Would be more than they would get from the festival fund, yes?
Yep. Okay. So, oh, hang on, how do I do this? I've just done it. So I'll move that the Creative Communities Assessment Committee grants $4,250 inclusive, excluding GST to application, oh God, what number is it? 2? Oh, sorry, application 11, Celtic Spirit. And you're happy to move that, Karis?
I will move that, yep.
Cool. And anybody happy to second? That was seconder? Oh, Alison and Colin. All right, yeah, we'll go Alison on that one.
Oh, choose Colin if you like.
All good. So, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? That is carried.
Okay, the number 3 priority is Fielding and District Arts Society, application number 9.
Cool. All right. So this one, Karis is excusing herself from the discussion, having declared a conflict of interest. So thank you for that. Okay. Where are we? Number 9. Here we go. So the total that's been asked for is $6,720. Comments, questions, concerns? Alison, you're always good for a comment.
I was just going to do some math, thinking that if we ranked it a bit lower, then we shouldn't be 100% funding it. What did I put there? 4,000. It is a very good program, and I like the fact that it's open to all ages, and it certainly reduces barriers to access because it's an affordable program. I wouldn't want to support it 100%, but closer to, 80, 90%.
Okay. Anyone else?
I like that accessibility to all ages too. I think it's brilliant. And they've got such a proven track record, and the presentation, bore that out, didn't they?
Yep. Agreed. I gave this quite a high score. I've advised 6,000, but I know that would basically eat up like 3/4 of the money that we have available, and then we've still got another 6 applications to consider. I'm happy to look at a slightly lesser amount, so they still get and like something towards it. But yeah, whether we could fully fund it, I don't think we can without impacting on other applications. Has anybody got a suggested amount that they'd like to put forward?
I put 4,220
4220.
to fit in the 2.5 from the student mentoring program.
All right, let's put that to the table. Creative Communities Assessment Committee grants $4,220 exclusive of GST. Exclusive of GST to application 9. Fielding and District Art Society. Can I get a mover and a seconder?
I'll move that.
Sue moving and seconded. Colin? Yay. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? And that's carried.
Okay, the fourth priority was Te Kahui Aho or Kawakawa.
Okay. Where are we? There we go. Okay. So just what's our total so far?
You've still got 8,386 remaining.
8,386.
Yeah.
Yep. 16. Okay. Comments on this one? Alison?
Thank you. Cassie is an amazing cluster organizer of things. She's done other projects in the past. Karis, didn't they do the students' art on display at Fielding and District Arts Centre as well?
Yeah, so they were doing the art display at Fielding for the last 2 years, which I believe has sown the seed for what they intend to do with the wearable arts on a sort of a grander scale.
And this is a cluster of 16 schools, and I did look up the school. It's everything from Apathy down, not so much the Kairanga, Rongatia area sort of thing, but I liked the idea of schools doing their own projects and then coming together. If you do remember the wearable arts that the high school used to put on, it was all by volunteers, and it actually became too big for them in the end, and that's why they stopped doing it. So each school just looking after their own students and then just coming together, I thought was a lot more achievable.
Thank you, Alison. Any comments from anyone else? Yeah, Karis?
I had suggested that they be funded quite highly, and I still, I suppose I'm feeling a little bit ambivalent, given how much money we've got left over, given that even our second and third applications have had quite large proportional reductions in what we're willing to offer them. I guess I'd like to comment that I would like to fund them close to what they've asked for, but given the way we've assessed the funding for everyone else, I'm sort of wondering if we need to err more to what Sue's recommendation was in terms of the amount to be granted. But I don't know if that would make the whole project sort of, I don't know if it would potentially undermine their ability to deliver.
Did we ask them that question, whether it would go ahead with less funding?
We did in relation to North Street School.
Yeah, North Street School, but not the other one. Colin?
Thank you. Sue, can you just read out your recommendation? Was it 2225?
No, 1686. It's a very small print.
1686. So if we made it 1600, that's $100 a school, 16 times $100. Is it easy?
So I'm willing to go closer to what they asked for as well, because I know that this has quite a proven track record of success. Just looking at, if you average it out, it's probably $2,500 or $3,000 is like if you averaged out what has been suggested. So I'm probably looking at a higher amount. Anyone else sort of in concurrence with that?
Yeah, I'd like to see a higher amount than 1,600.
Okay. So we got one that's fully funded, two that are at 3,000, one that's at $3,400 essentially, and one at about 1,700. So
What would be the average of those?
oh,
Sorry.
Read them out. Just tell me the figures again. I'll work it out for you.
3,674.
Yeah.
Two at 3,000 each.
Yeah.
3,398 and 45 cents.
I'm not going to do it to the cents, but that's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Make it 3,400 and 1,700.
Yeah, so it's about 18,000. So the six, it's about $3,000 average, near enough.
Mm.
Approximately. I was just trying to approximate it.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. I'll put the motion. Oh, sorry, Alison. Yeah.
Oh, so what was the amount you said?
Alison, it was a rough back of the cigarette back in the old statement, but it's about $3,000 average.
Wait, no, but what was the amount for this one, or was it? Or have we not decided? Sorry.
We hadn't decided yet. I was about to put a motion forward.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say I did a calculation on 75% of what they asked for.
So,
And it's $2,755.50. 75%. But as a suggestion,
$2,755.50.
yeah, but someone can check that. I have got COVID.
All good.
I have.
There's that one.
Could you round that up and not have the 50 cents,
Yeah.
please?
So round it up to 56.
Or
275.
I like tidy numbers. You could even just do 2,750 and leave it at that.
All right. Okay, we'll put that forward. Motion is that the Creative Communities Assessment Committee grants $2,750 to Te Kahui Ahu a Kawakawa. Sorry, exclusive of GST. And it's application 16. Can I get a mover for that one, Kim? And can I get a seconder for that one,
Second that.
Sue? All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? That is carried.
Okay, application, fifth priority is application 12, which is the Fielding Civic Centre Trust.
Building Civic Centre Trust. Okay. So look.
Left now, Janine?
You have 5,636.
Thank you.
How much is left?
Five
Sorry,
thousand six hundred and 36.
Alison said so, yeah.
And it's quite a high amount that they're looking for as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
478.
Comments?
I'd like to see a similar amount, 75% perhaps, if we can afford it. It's such a good project.
I was really impressed with the knowledge and the details that they gave. And I think that makes total sense in terms of what they were asking for in terms of an entry fee. I've had that before, not necessarily from participants, but more so from audience members. You know, if you don't have that money, then yeah, you can't necessarily guarantee that they're going to show on up. So it's kind of like a little bit of a bond.
Skin in the game.
Yeah. It teaches a little bit of value as well. So yeah, I totally understand that. Any other comments? Okay. Oh, yeah.
comment. I would just like to comment that I think we should be as much as I would like to fund them close to fully funded. If we have given the group beforehand 75% funding, I think we should look at below 75% just for fairness.
So did you say below?
I think we should look at below 75%.
Okay, is that just because of the priorities or?
Thinking about how we've ranked them, if we've got higher ranked groups getting only 75% funding, why would we give a lower priority application an equivalent amount?
Yep, I can understand that. Would you be comfortable with 70%?
I think so. I think that would be fair.
Okay, all right, I'm comfortable with that. Anybody concur with that?
When you say a lower, so it's number 5 on the priority,
Yeah.
were there ones with equal scores? I can't see
that's
it on the
a question.
updated. Like, was there like 4 and 5 equals? You know what I mean? Like,
Don't know.
do you know, I haven't got the updated one since we changed scores in there.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, the total scoring, they were pretty well on a par. The average score would have been 16.
And what was the one before? Oh, sorry. What was the one before?
The average score for the application,
That was the priority above.
4th priority. The average score would have been 17.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's
what's
close.
70% of full amount?
How much is the full amount?
4703?
3,292, but you could perhaps even do 3,300.
Well, we went, so when we did the last one, it was 2,555, and then we went down to 275. So I'm wondering if, like, to be consistent rather than go up, we round it down.
Yeah.
3,200.
So, Alison, you cut out there?
3,200.
3,200?
3,200. Does that sound?
Okay. Motion is that the Creative Communities Assessment Committee grants $3,200 exclusive of GST to application 12, Fielding Civic Centre Trust, for their Star Search program or their Star Search competition. Can I get a mover and a seconder?
I will move.
Moved by Karis, seconded by Alison. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? That is carried.
Okay, the 6th priority is application number 13, which is North Street School.
And what's our amount left?
We have 2,436.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just looking at what people suggested in their original ones, this was not funded by at least 3 of us. So I'm just wondering, with anybody who didn't put an amount there, would you be keen to speak to the reason why?
I think I was one of those. Did I put an amount in when we had?
The ones that didn't put amounts was Ben and Alison.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm happy to speak mine. It was just the, it would be a very good program for the 4 children involved, but the problem is it's only 4 children involved, 4 children and 2 mentors involved. It was just about the numbers that would benefit for me.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
struggled with that a bit as well, but I thought the potential could be significant for those kids.
Mm.
Yeah, depending on the amount of disadvantage, I suppose.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I just
Mm.
a hand up for kids that really need it.
Yeah, I didn't give them an amount just purely because for me it was balancing up the Te Kahui Aho o Kawakawa and this, and I just saw that there was more, there was wider benefit to that application than this one, but it's our sixth priority, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't get anything. But I think going based off of what we've done over the past few applications, I'm more than happy to consider like a percentage of what they've requested. So if we said, 60 or 65% of what they've requested. So any thoughts on that?
2 kids, 1 mentor. That works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can I just comment that sort of from having been involved in this project in the past, I know that the mentors have received stipends that are normally around $500 per student. So if we were to look at 60% or below, I think I'm quite confident that they would still be able to get this program quite close to the original design, just based on what they've been able to sort of squeeze in before in terms of those mentor stipends.
Yep.
So there might be a way of doing it.
Mm. And Kezia did say that any amount would be wonderful.
Mm.
And I think the impact of something not like this not happening on families can be quite huge better down the track.
Yep. Cool. So
Oh yeah. So
what's
what's 60% of 2,500?
Colin?
1,500.
1,500. Still a decent amount, isn't it? Okay. All right. I'll put the motion forward that the Creative Communities Assessment Committee grants $1,500 or $1,500 exclusive of GST to application 13, North Street School, for their mentorship program. If I get a mover and a seconder.
I'll move.
That's Kim to move. And second by Sue. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? That is carried.
Okay, our 7th priority is application number 15, which was the Community Music Aotearoa Charitable Trust. We have $936 left.
Let's have a
I
look at it.
noticed the tutor was $700 a day.
Yeah, I was supportive of this. I'm still supportive of the concept. I think though that in order for it to be done successfully, it would need to be fully funded. And we don't have an amount that I think would be helpful. It's not even covering half of what they're asking for. So I'm more than happy to, well, I was going to say more than happy. I'm happy to move that we don't support this one and ask them to reapply at a future date. That's what I'm thinking. Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
If we choose not to fund them, can we reallocate that remaining 900 across some of our other applications?
Because of the priority?
Mm.
Yeah. That that would mean that you would need to make a decision that you are also not going to fund applications 18, 17 and 14, which are your next three priorities.
The next one under this is Huanui, isn't it? Is that the next one up?
Okay. Well, I'll put the motion forward that we don't grant money to application 15, Community Music Aotearoa, and ask them to reapply in, is it August or September?
August.
August, yeah.
It's already the second time they've applied, isn't it, Janine?
I'm not too sure. I thought this was the first time we've actually had it
Mm.
across our table. So
We had a music one from a charitable trust last time. Maybe it's a different one.
it's a different one. There was a couple that were going around, rather than schools, they were going around community halls.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Okay, can I get a mover?
Yes, I'm happy to.
Moved by Alison, seconded by
Yeah, I can second.
Karis. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? That is carried. So is it 18 now?
Application 18, yes, is the
Application 18.
eighth priority. There are only 2 points difference between the two applications.
Okay.
Which is this, the Havanui one?
Yes, sorry, Huanui. Cool. I'll open it up to comments. Yes, Karen?
I think if we haven't funded the one above, then we don't fund, but maybe suggest that they reconsider the kaupapa to make it more arts focused.
Yep. Colin?
I really support the concept of what we're doing and the involvement with, with the students. So I'm going to do a little bit of left field here. All right. If you put in 900, I'll personally top it up to the full amount. Because I also want to not lose the significance of that commitment for our servicemen. So I'm prepared to personally throw in $3,000.
Are we allowed to do that?
Of course, I'm allowed to contribute personally.
Yeah. But like, is it allowed to be a consideration that we have? That there's now an external.
I think the best thing through you, Mr. Chair, is to actually make your decision on how much, and then Councillor McPherson can have that conversation directly with the Huanui Community Committee.
Okay.
So it's taken outside of this.
Yeah.
committee.
Yep. Okay. That's all right.
The context of offering that was it was either you either had enough money to shift it or you didn't. You can't part shift it.
More opportunity for them to apply elsewhere.
I'm sure there'd be other funds that they could apply for, or I know that our council, Ngāti sorry, has received funding from Veterans Affairs. Whether or not they would have something available, I don't know, but they tend to support more recent veterans rather than historic. So, or even something like Poppy Places, but
Alison.
Oh, sorry, Alison.
Sorry, me again. How did we end up with that one rating lower than the previous one, when even though the scores were higher, quite a few of us declined the funding on the previous one. So personally, I still see the Huanui one ranking higher than the one before, based on the amounts that we gave, not just the score. Do you know can you see what I mean? Because quite a few of us said nothing for the rural school music. What's the amount of funding that we've got left?
$936.
And through you, Mr. Chair, in answer to your question, there were two of the assessors that scored relatively low for application 18 in a couple of the areas.
Hmm.
So now we've got to decide whether we reallocate that money up or give the remaining funding to Hawanui.
Hmm. Yeah, Karis?
I'm quite strongly opposed to funding Hiwanui on the basis that it sits outside of the Creative Communities brief, and Ministry of Culture and Heritage has responsibility for history funding.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. Have you got any comments, Kim?
I think there's part of the Hiwinui application that is creative, especially when you're not so much the research stuff, but in terms of the board and the actual surroundings of the cenotaph, and yeah, just soldiers get me. Oh, yeah. And I think if we go back, the one we declined just before, we probably saw that that money wasn't going to make a difference because of the fees that were being charged by the tutors
Yeah.
rather than the priority of the score.
Yeah.
I'd like us to have something go towards Hiwinui,
Okay.
but that's
Sue?
I'm with Karis
Mm.
in that I think it's a really worthy idea, but not for us, not for this money.
Hmm. Mm. Yeah, I'm of that ilk as well. I do wonder if perhaps we can encourage them to go away and have a think about how they can make it more focused around what the criteria is and put in an application in August, which would be a lot stronger than the one that they currently have. I think that they've just misunderstood what the purpose of this fund is. So I'd love to encourage them to apply again and just put some more thought into that, and something that perhaps we can help with educating on. Because I know that previously we've had some applications come on in that haven't been arts focused, they've been more marketing focused, and it's something that maybe we need to think about in terms of capturing those applications before they get to us. Because I know it puts us in a difficult position when we're saying no to people when they put in these applications, but yeah. Okay. I'll put the motion forward that the Creative Communities Assessment Committee does not grant Hawanui Community Committee application 18 anything for this. Can I get a mover? Oh, sorry.
Here I've also added after that, recommending a more criteria focused application for the next funding round.
Yes, thank you. Cool. Can I get a mover and a seconder?
I will move, seeing as I was so vocal.
Yep. Karis, move. Seconder.
Second that.
Sue to second. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against?
I'd like to register that I'd like to abstain because I don't fully understand.
Yep.
I think I'd like to abstain.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So the next application that requires a decision is application number 17, Owen Cox.
Um, I think for this, for similar reasons, it's low on the priorities. There's not many details, and unfortunately he's not able to be here to speak to it. I'm thinking that we also decline this application. Anybody got thoughts on that? No contrary views?
No.
Feel a little bit like an executioner in some way. So I move that the application 17 for Owen Cox is declined for this application. Can I get a mover and a seconder?
I'll move.
You'll move?
Yep, Kim.
Can I second? Oh, I'll second then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Against? That's carried.
Okay, the final application is application 14 from Shelley Dunn.
From Shelley Dunn. Cool. Again, similar reasons. There's not enough details in the application for me to consider this having any funding put towards it. Has anybody got any contrary views?
No.
Okay, I move that application 14 for Shelley Dunn be declined from this Creative Communities round. I'll move it. Can I get a seconder? Alison? All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? As carried.
I have a question, please.
Yes.
So if we've got $936, do we have to allocate it or can we leave it and carry it forward?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, you can certainly carry it forward to the next funding round.
I'd like to discuss that. I'd like to suggest that if we've invited Huanui to go back, it would also send the right signal if we left the $900 and something there, because it's, just as a suggestion. Because if we really wanted to go back and address it, we should have probably made that decision when we went through it. In other words, the earlier amounts, you were comfortable at a percentage.
Yeah.
Right, and if you're comfortable at the percentage, it's, for me, that would show consistency.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to endorse that as well. Anybody else got any thoughts or objections to that? Cool. All right. Is there anything else? All right. I declare the meeting closed as of 10:47. Sorry, 11:47. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anyone